Welcome to Toffee TV. There's the final word. Manchester United 3, Everton 1. The Blues crash out of the FA Cup at the first time of asking to continue the misery of the season so far, really. Joined by John Blaine in the studio as well. First week in January, relegation zone, out of both cup competitions.
Deja vu.
It's not a very... a year ago we were still in the FA Cup. We weren't at the bottom of the league, to be fair, and we were up the Carabao Cup. In all fairness, this one isn't that much of a surprise that we're sat here on the Monday talking about Everton being knocked out, is it?
No, not really. Not really. Man United are very much in form and very much put a good first team out. I know a lot of people are patting themselves on the back about the performance, but I'm sure you felt sort of like I felt after the game, which is, if a championship team done that, that's what you would expect in terms of how we set up and everything, or how we delivered the performance. I think the biggest thing I took from it is, like, why didn't you just try and play like this a couple of days ago against Brighton, who are a very good side, who, by the way, in the press conference, Frank Lampard couldn't wait to tell everybody how good Brighton were.
After City.
After, no, but after, I think even after this, he referred to it. And it was like, well, why didn't you give them then that credit, that credit before the game by putting a hard team in? Why did it take 2 trips to Manchester to play a way that arguably, whether people like it or not, is probably the only way we're going to get ourselves out of trouble. So I thought as the plan was, it worked in many ways, and we still conceded 3 goals, but we look a lot more effective in that, whatever that means.
I mean, John, you were there. It was, I guess, if you want to look at it like the other way, are the players still playing for the manager and all that? Well, I was thinking about this driving in today, and there's only really been, in the last 10 or 15 years, I think one manager where it's been clearly evident the players have stopped playing for, and he's just signed he's fell upwards again and signed a deal with Portugal today. I can only, even under the likes of Koeman, I think the players were still playing. I think on Allardyce, they were playing for him. I think Silva, they were still playing for him. They weren't scratching their heads like they were with Martinez. So, but the players quite clearly, like Ped said, delivered a performance at Old Trafford on Friday night in terms of they give United a game. And is Ped right? Is that 5 at the back the only real way we can go right now for where we are?
Well, recent evidence would suggest that, I know they're playing for, you're saying, they're playing for the manager. Yeah. Actually, I think they're playing for themselves, they're playing for the shirt, whatever. Yeah. Right? But they believe, the players believe, I think, 5 at the back's better. Right? So
just like now, the way they play.
So they're more comfortable. Therefore, chief exec can waffle all she likes about collegiate approaches and blah, 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 to decision making. But at the end of the day, people have to be accountable. The manager is accountable for how they choose to play. Yeah. And then the players, once they cross the line, are accountable for putting in the best individual performances and collective performances that they can. So for me, it's beyond belief that the manager can go to Manchester City, set up in a way that the players appear to be more comfortable with. It's not exciting, it's a bit basic, but it
keeps us in a game.
Keeps us in a game, and as we saw, if you do get a chance and you take it, you can get an unexpected result. Yeah. Okay? And against United, we set up broadly the same way, not the same players because of injuries and stuff, but we end up with a very similar performance. Actually, moderately better for a period because we went back behind so soon. Yeah, it would have been easy for the heads to go down and go, here we go again type thing. Bit of shit goalkeeper. Oops, sorry. Go on. Watershed and all that. Yeah. Sorry, but a poor piece of goalkeeping by De Gea and Cody on the spot, so to speak. And now we're still in the game. Yeah, right. And therefore, it's not pretty. I think you alluded to Championship or League One or maybe even League Two, they go by last night, can go to Premier League grounds, put in a shift and get something. Why the manager thinks in between he should go, I need to attack because we're at home, is beyond me, okay? And you have to conclude, don't you, that if the players are comfortable with the way we're set up at City and they're comfortable the way we're set up at United, they can't have been comfortable the way we set up against Brighton, and they fear Goodison and the so-called difficult fan base that we are, and we're not difficult at all. And that then gets you into culture and psychology and all that, because Absolutely. I think people jump on a bandwagon, don't they, and say, Frank gets it. And I think we've sat here and said, he can't, he's only been here 5 minutes. I've been going to Goodison for 50 odd years. I get it.
Ben Foster apparently gets it.
Yeah.
Apparently. Right. This is what I keep on air, and Ben Foster gets it.
So we make the joke, or I would make the joke, what's love but a second-hand emotion, right? Yeah. Getting Everton for these guys who are transient, players, managers, directors of football, even some board members, is a second-hand emotion. So you have to think, where are they getting it from? And if they're getting it from their colleagues within the football club, they don't get it. You see what I mean? Yeah. So you're in a real mess, really, in that context. Well, so the manager shouldn't, the manager shouldn't react to what fans want, but he should also read the goddamn room. And the goddamn room is actually full of players, not fans.
Okay.
So ask your captain and your men what they think.
We'll come back to that. I mean, we just touched on there of like, we play 5 at the back at City and we play 5 at the back at United within a week. And arguably carry much more of a threat than we did playing against Brighton. Yeah. We ended up with 8 shots at United and 5 on targets. And okay, did De Gea have to make any worldies? No. But did we look more of a threat with... Because whether people...
Were we in more of the game?
Well, we were, but whether people like it or not, Damari Gray's our best attacker. He's the one who carries a threat. He's pacey. He hit the post in this one. He's a real threat. He sets the second equaliser up, but for a mid-season...
That might have been the best move of the game.
It was a superb move. Yeah. It was superb. We are better playing that way. And this is why it's annoyed me with the players on Friday, and it annoyed me with the manager, is that we went to City and put in a good, solid performance. We had to ride our luck. We reduced them to very little. Pickford has had to make a good save at 1-1. We've done okay. Like Ped just said, the manager after the game, when he was the 2 questions for the Brighton press conference, he said Brighton are a really good side. We're going to have to be on the game and all that. So why change it? Why not just go, let's just stick with this for 6 weeks?
But he was asked it after this game though as well. And he was asked why he changed it, and he was like, you he didn't, when his answer was, he was like, oh, you couldn't say enough about them. I was like, well, why didn't you pay them that respect then on the night? I think what we've got to do in the way we play is not, we've got to step away from it and go, in terms of what's best, what do we like watching and all that, and go, what works? We've got footballers who I don't think are good enough to play 4-3-3. We've tried it and I don't think...
They're not in the structure he puts them out.
No, but I just don't think they're good enough, full stop. I don't think they've got enough in-game intelligence to understand. They're too rigid. When we play 4-3-3, or when good teams play 4-3-3,
it's flexible.
It's flexible. The front 3 move round, the midfield fill in the spaces, the full-backs push up and allow we're rigid. Our full-backs don't move. Our wide men don't move. So I don't think there's enough intelligence in the squad to play that way. I think what happens with this system is it becomes very, very simple for people, and it becomes very, very simple how to play there. Look at Damari Gray just mentioned there. It becomes, the pitch opens up because he picks the ball up deep and all he has to do maybe is skip past the first tackle.
And he's at him.
And he's through. Casemiro knew that on Friday. He took him down straight away. And even the commentator said, well, that was a very, very good foul, because he's away. It makes the game very simple for him. He doesn't have to have a guy who he's got to work out, how am I going to beat this fella? He beats someone deep with pace and goes. This system becomes very, very simple. And going forward, it has to be, for me, Dominic Calvert-Lewin fit with Gray off him. And then all the rest just fit it. And what I thought was interesting was, if you want to play it at home, you can sacrifice, say, Mykolenko and say, well, we've got an attacking player, Dwight McNeil, to play there. Or we've got Anthony Gordon to play it on the right. And you still keep your solid 3, whatever that is. And if you want to be more negative, you have Mykolenko playing left wing back and you have Seamus Coleman playing right wing back. That's how it can be flexible. But Connor Cody, James Tarkowski don't have enough pace to play in a back 4 with the setup we've got now either. So this fits, and whether people like it or not, I think we as a fan base, we're intelligent enough to know from the performances, from what we've just seen, what works and what doesn't.
Well,
go.
No, well, this is what the manager thought about the performance after the game.
Yeah, it was a performance of the similar level, possibly better in an attacking sense than Manchester City. Two visits to these two big clubs in a week, and we got a draw at City, and I think we deserved a draw here today. Really pleased with the spirit of the team. Really pleased with the bravery of how we played, and the disallowed goal was a great example of that. Would have been a fantastic team goal. And unfortunately we didn't get the result, because sometimes football can do that to you, and sometimes individuals of Rashford's quality can have their moments, and it didn't quite go for us.
There you go, the manager. It's one of them.
We're all shrugging.
No, but I think the thing about it is, he's put a team up, and like Ped said, for a period of time, it stayed in the game. But I think the players do look, and you alluded to it before, John, they do look more comfortable in this right now, and maybe if you have better players you can switch it up. Like I say, if he's going to play a 4, he has to play 4-2-3-1, and the 2 have to stay sitting, so you've got the 4 covering, because you don't want players like a Rashford running at Tarkowski and Cody.
No, true.
But if you've got defensive midfielders, they can drop off, someone can engage. I think with the 3 at the back you can have that, and you can play high, because you've still got 3, especially with Godfrey's pace. But it's one of them. We went behind really early on, didn't we? And the goal in itself was poor. It was good play by Rashford, but it's really poor. I've got the stills here. Just want to look at where players are letting the manager down as well. And this is the first clip, and this is Anthony Martial, and he's got 3 Everton players round him here in the centre circle, and no one fully engages him. We
just before then, though, we were weak, weren't we?
No, but we had the ball forward and they play it out. He turns here in the centre circle past 3 players. No one takes the ball. He turns past 3. We move it on. That's the obvious pass into Marcus Rashford, which he plays. You can see Rashford's got a gap between him and Ben Godfrey. We take it on again. Rashford's, running forward. The arrow is where he's going to attack. Mikalenko's marking Anthony in the middle. I've got him circled. So Cody's going to the right place. He's got to go to the near post to cover the ball back. Tarkowski's trying to get in there. Obviously, the problem here for Everton is Bruno Fernandes. But it's one of them. The players are running back towards the goal.
Ben thinks he's doing his job here.
Well, really. He is. He's showing him. The problem is Rashford's actually more dangerous going on the outside. Yeah. You better show him onto his right. But anyway, if we take it on, we take it on. Mikalenko still can see Anthony. I've circled him. He still can see Anthony. He can see that Tarkowski and Cody don't know Anthony's behind him. So that's his man. He can see. He's looking straight at him. And it's the next phase of play which is berserk for me. He gets attracted by Fernandes. And you can see, I've done the line, because his leg now is changing his body shape.
Yeah.
So he's thinking, I'm leaving Anthony on his own in case it's cut back to Fernandes. You take it on again. Mikalenko circled with Fernandes, and Anthony, look where he is, on his own. Just terrible defender.
Well, Ben, for me, what's horrible about this goal is it actually has an impact on the second goal as well. Because Ben Godfrey's number 1 should be more aggressive there. Yeah, he should be forcing him out off the pitch.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he
lets him
later on
him
in the
up.
game, he does that. And then the second time he does it, it leads to a penalty. So he's got to be right on him. Mikalenko, I've said this, and I said this the other day on my reaction to the game. Why defenders don't go for the first obvious thing is beyond me. The guy there is scoring. The guy there will deal with afterwards.
Well, if it's cut back, then Tarkowski goes and engages.
No, what I said, it was like, when you're at a junction and you turn right and you look right, left, right. But you always look right set twice.
Yeah, because you have to make
you've
sure.
You've always got time to stop with the one coming that way.
Yeah.
Oh. But that has an impact on the second goal as well. Because now Cody's gone on his head. I can't let it run across me goal. I can't let that go again because I don't know what's behind me. And that hasn't. And Ben Godfrey for me should be just seeing him out. But Mikalenko, the first rule of defending is deal with the guy who's got the tapping.
If you look and go, well, hang on, John's on his own, but you might go back to this light here. I'm going, what goes through your brain?
It does it? It happens like that.
No,
so it's innate.
What's a defender? A defender is to stop the danger. That's the whole defender, to stop
I'm agreeing with you.
And what he's done is
Mikalenko hasn't got it.
He's ran the other way, and
he hasn't got it.
Jordan Pickford, I feel sorry for him. He's just exposed. What can he do? Anthony does really well, because I bet you that they've gone right across the box for us. No one would have thought, I'll slide it in. But, brilliant by Rashford. But it's just one of those moments where you've got a game plan and your defender switched off. They cut in and bend it in the top corner. You just go, good goal. Frank Lampard, this is where I have sympathy for him and the coaches. They must be looking at that going, what is this? What's happened here? We've seen it with Brighton's second goal the other night. Instead of going to the defender, they run to the line. It's like, cut the danger out first. Cut the danger out. And the manager, and like I said, the coaching staff, whatever else they're doing wrong, and some fans think they're doing everything wrong, those moments you can't legislate for. A defender is marked or can see someone and just goes, nah, actually I'm just going to go back to this in case the ball goes here. That to me is shocking. But what I did think Everton did well was they didn't allow the Reds to, that was like 3.5 minutes in. Picked themselves up, started trying to get into the game. And we do get level and, good crossfield ball by Iwobi. It leads to, it's the one before when Damari Gray hits the post. And then eventually we have a ball coming in, it gets headed out. We get it back to Onana. I think Onana should shoot. It's a big gap, but he doesn't. He holds it up, plays it to Maupay. He keeps it alive. It hits the post and Conor Cody taps in.
Did it hit the post?
No.
Bounty.
This is leg.
Bounty
left leg.
Thought it is the post.
I done the old golden stacking with the Champions against Liverpool.
Yeah.
No, Conor Cody stayed alive. He stayed up there, right place, right time.
Centre back a yard from their goal.
And knocks it in, and more striking instincts than we see from a lot of our players. Well, he does.
Yeah, he stays in.
Stays alive.
The corner comes, it gets headed back in, and he stays.
That something might happen. So fair play to him. He obviously was a centre forward at some point. And it gets you back into the game. And what's annoying for a good, for the rest of our half. Man United, they had one big opportunity. I think again it come onto the right hand side or their left hand side, and Pickford had to make a decent save. But once we got to 1-1, we sort of settled down, and I thought Onana done really well in the middle of the park. I thought probably maybe his best Everton game.
No, it was because he just sat in the six.
Because he looked in control.
Passing was good,
and it was that thing of stop it on the edge of the box, break, and then use Gray. And try and get in the high areas.
You just mentioned Onana, just let's have a look at his stats here. Completed 50% of his dribbles, won 3 tackles, won 6 out of 8 duels, passing accuracy 88%, 100% of his long balls. Make that sound better, it was one long ball. But in general, for me, he sat in front of the defence, he patrolled some of those long telescopic tackles that he likes. Got booked, he was a touch unlucky for his booking. Because it was his thigh that caught the lad. There was other ones which were worse. In fact, Malassia's challenge on Iwobi is a poor challenge, and the referee allows that to go. But I thought Onana did well, and Everton did have a bit of measured control in the first half. A couple of times on the counter attack, we made the wrong decision. Gray a couple of times with a slot, he does brilliant, and then there's a sloppy pass at the end. Maupay similar, and then. With the 2 big opportunities United had, one of them is us giving the ball away. Iwobi with a shocking bit of control that led to them breaking the Martial forcing a good save.
Coleman did smash that ball.
Yeah, no, I know, but he's going with his shin. And the other one, and in that as well, Godfrey allows the run, just to run into the box. And the other one was Marcus Rashford, which broke fortunately to them, and they broke, and Pickford makes a save. You'd expect them to save. I know Eriksen fizzed one over as well, but in general, we go in 1-1 at the break and it was all right. It was okay. We'd carried the threat.
What are you saying at half time?
If I'm the manager, I'm saying continue what you're doing. You'll get these on the break. You'll get opportunities.
Stay tight
on the counter attack. Keep it nice and tight. Onana, Ghana was funny because he only had a great game, but he was still everywhere. But there was one where he overhit a pass, and he was the first player that went. He went and pressed for himself. He went for his own ball and forced it
on the right hand side.
And if we had that energy everywhere else, we'd be all right. But we come out for the second half, and obviously we lost the Iwobi, and like I've just said, it wasn't a good tackle by Malacia.
But even that though, that was a counter attack.
It was a counter attack.
And it was like.
But he ran into nothing, didn't he?
He was running in such a weird direction. It's like he couldn't get away from him. He didn't know what to do.
He's normally will do the chop there, Iwobi, and come back inside. But anyway,
it isn't a nice tackle though.
No, really. It's a poor challenge, and his ankle goes. Is that because his foot stays? If his foot slides, he'd have bounced off from that. But we're very, very fortunate that it's only a 3-weeker. When he went off, I was thinking that could be the season.
He was in a lot of pain.
He looked, and he normally he normally gets up, Iwobi, and the fact that where it was and the way his ankle motion
and all that.
And obviously you didn't have the benefit of seeing the replay, but we were seeing the replay and his ankle went right, and you're looking thinking that literally could be a season done now. We're lucky it's 3 weeks, but okay. The Corey come on, and to be fair to him, I thought he'd done all right.
Yeah. He had a shaky couple of.
He did the first 5 minutes, but within that,
wearing Rondon's boots.
He was. Yeah.
You could see how you could break their lines, though.
Well, you could, but within that first 5 minutes, we lose a goal as well. So not only have we just lost the energy in midfield, we also
lost leadership on the field. Because to me, I'm chatting with people around me. We need to stay on this now. You've got a bloody feeling his pain sort of thing, and you're thinking you should actually be getting set with subs not ready, all that sort of stuff. Get set, keep your heads on.
That was a joke, actually.
You know,
and so on.
And
ready.
Probably within, I don't know what it was in real time, a minute of the game restarting.
Scored,
and it's an own goal, which again is another moment that gets into your head.
I think like Ped
but then we hung in there again.
We did, but it's like Peds. I mean, first of all, I think Seamus needs to be tighter straight away. He allows Rashford to size him up. And again, we're talking about the danger from Rashford. What I want to be doing there as a right fullback is forcing him onto his right foot, because I'm thinking, well, if he whips it in, I'm trusting Cody and Tarkovsky to deal with this. The problem is there's a bit of space between him and Seamus, and he does, to be fair to Rashford, he does really well. He stops it, and as Seamus stops, he goes again. Yeah. And then, as a result, like Ped said before, Cody has to think, well, hang on, the last time I let one get across me, the kid's got a tap in. But I've never, I'm not blaming Conor Cody here at all, but I've never understood why defenders stretch when they're in. What are they hoping to achieve stretching in front of your goal? Are you hoping that it hits you and flies away?
We talked about the first goal, which was fundamentally about Godfrey, do your job and trust in the guys behind you. Cody could have actually trusted in the guys behind him, which includes the keeper, right? But anyway.
But does he need a shout there?
He should, yeah.
Yeah, of course. We should always be talking. Everyone should.
I think for the goal, I think what does brilliantly is he's got in the box, and he knows he's faster and he's faster from a standing start.
The yard you need.
So he slows him down, and then he quickens it up, and he hasn't got a chance. I said this after match reaction. It's like, do people just? I know it happens very, very quickly, but these are these fellas are at the top of the game.
Elite.
These are the elite players. You know. Why is Conor Cody not trusting the fella behind him? Is that up to someone behind him to go?
Leave.
Not leave. We never shout leave. Come on, you know that. You get told that when you're 7. Put a name on it. Put a name on it.
Tarky.
Tarkies, or have some kind of communication.
Code word or whatever.
But that's what.
Well, that's what teams do, don't they?
Have a code word that says. These scenarios.
Have a safe word.
These scenarios.
Shit!
There's one. You used to obviously been to Amsterdam. Have a word that tells the person in that moment that I'm behind you. Yeah, you say Sheila or something, and then Tarky's there to put his foot through it. You know, people might go, as if there's enough. These are the elite. These are the fellas.
Well, we all make, when you play football, you always make decisions that you don't know why you've really made them, because. But we look at it and it happens quickly, but when you're playing it, your brain is unbelievable. It slows things down, so you make these decisions. How do you pull something down, beat them? You don't go, I'm going to stop it, and now I'm going to do this and go back. It's something that you do instantaneously. Those defenders do that every day in training. They deal with stuff every day in a split second because they have to. Okay, he's stretching, and that's what I'm saying. He's stretching towards his own goal in the middle of the goal. He's not even in front of the near post.
Unless the keeper's there, it's going to be an own goal, isn't it?
Listen, I'm not. It is what it is. But we did again. We stayed in the game at 2-1. They didn't ever really get to a stage where they took the game away from us, but they did have a measure of control. But that's okay, because we did look a threat on the break. We had the one where the Corey leads the charge, brilliantly breaks the lines. Goes outside to Seamus, he drives it, keeper makes a save, and Michalenko can't turn it in. You know, and then obviously we had the moment where we all thought it was 2-2. It was a brilliant move. It was a brilliant bit of football. Best bit of football in the game from both sides. Lovely little back heel by Gray to Seamus. I know people are going, if he'd have just held his run, but if you look at it, it's a fraction. It's a fraction.
How do you hold your run If you're going that way and Luke Shaw's going that way,
it's the pass as
People
well.
are always going to say it, but it
Of
happens
course,
in the moment,
it was
doesn't it?
it was this, wasn't it? And I've said before, if it had been, which happens and blows my mind, if it had been at a ground that didn't have VAR in the same competition, or Anfield, like the cameras weren't working, it'd have been 2-2. Gray does brilliantly, Oldrow, Fat and Dom, tremendous little chest, 2-2. And the goal deserved to stand just because it was a good goal. But when you look at it, he's offside. He's offside. So that's the way it is. It's just unlucky that it was that tight. I think if you do the AI and people see it rather than the line, well, look at his arm, and he's off. He's off. With the AI, you just go, he's offside, end off. Instantaneous, done.
Don't have a minute and a half to celebrate.
No, you wouldn't, would you? You'd have 2 or 3 seconds. But it was a great bit of play from Everton, and that kind of thing makes you think, if we could do this kind of stuff regularly.
And Seamus Coleman's
exactly,
the main part of
they're breaking it. And why are they breaking? Because the counter-attack. Rather than us, I've said this, Boreham Wood showed me last season that whatever we do in training isn't the ability to break teams down. When a non-league team come and sit with 10 behind the ball and go on then, and we take 70 minutes to break them down, it shows you that the invention isn't in our team. And we haven't improved that invention.
It's not there.
In that. So therefore, let's do the other stuff, we've talked about. Let's play a bit deeper and let's try to use players that can run on a break. And we stuck in there, we've had Damari Gray's had a shot, which it was a good move, but he hasn't really caught it.
Do you think the belief, though, when that goal was disallowed, the belief
might have eaten away a little bit?
I mean, you were there, John. What was the feeling there like? Because
it was a key moment.
It did feel like it.
It was a key moment. The third one didn't matter, really.
No, it was over, wasn't it?
But it was a key moment. And we didn't really do much after it, did we? So
that
answers your question, really.
No, he huffed and puffed.
They were worried.
Well, they were, weren't they?
Before the goal,
were edgy, weren't they?
They were because despite having the possession, despite clearly being the better set, blah, 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 we were still in it.
At 2-1, you're edgy. We had the Damari Gray left foot shot, which, we've done it again. That was the Corey. Done really well. And if he just stands it up, the Corey's on his own. But then, a minute or two later, there is one stood up for Adelaide Corey and he heads it wide. And they were the 2 opportunities. And then United break. And again...
But the way to judge your game, I always think, is what your keepers have to do. And Pickford had a couple of saves to make in the first half.
He
had loads to do in the second half.
Not much at all.
And I think that's where at 2-1 they were like, do we stick or twist? And it was, if we'd got that goal, then,
Did that make you... I know, but in some respects, though, the way we played and the way we've been to Manchester twice in a week and limit... We haven't been battered in either game. No, what I'm saying is, does that make you think, well... if we play this way for the rest, certainly for the next 6-8 weeks, we might actually be able to get points from games. Because now we look lost in other games.
Listen, we looked, like I said before, we looked like a team that was from the Championship trying to take on a Premier League team. That's what we looked like. But that doesn't mean it didn't work. For large amounts of the game, we were in it. And last week against City, we got a point. We're not very good. We can't play 4-3-3. We do not have the players.
The three in the final third,
have good enough.
let it down.
Even defensively, Baz, we're not good enough. We're really not to play 4 at the back. We're just not. We leave gaps everywhere. 5 allows us to play in the counter-attack and gives us a little bit of a chance. And with Dom playing when he plays, and I understand why he didn't play actually the other night, when you think, especially when you look at Iwobi's injury.
Still would have.
No, I know, but when you think about it, though.
No, not Dom. I think
yeah, but and fair enough. For me, playing a 3-5-2 is the only way we're going to get anywhere near what we points wise. And people go, yeah, but you're playing Southampton and all. We're not good enough. Let's just look at it like that.
You can have a hybrid though. Because what we're really, the way I interpret the chat you two guys have just had, that the 3-5-2, we call it that, just makes it easier intellectually for these players to go through transition faster. So if you do transition faster in any formation, then you're going to get some of the results because you play with a bit of width. You give a Damari Gray some space and perhaps someone on the other side doing the same, and so on.
But if you do things at speed,
frankly, if
teams can't react.
Absolutely. So candidly for the manager, if it's not ability, it's mindset that these players can't cope with. You have to make it very simple.
Make it basic,
Yeah, that's
Make it very simple.
If you've got
move the ball quicker, blah.
If Everton play Southampton at Goodison at the weekend, and you're playing 3-5-2, right? Owen's playing 3-5-2.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's negative.
That's what I mean.
Because you can get the ball back to front quickly. Because Dom hopefully will be available. We can go longer, quicker. If he's got Damari Gray buzzing around him, and we can push our fullbacks a bit higher, and we've got midfield breaking, it'll be Decore, I imagine, because he's the most natural one. Garner will do the pressing. Leave Onana sitting. You're still getting 3, 4, 5 men, maybe forward. What we do with the 4-3-3, and this is what I think what you're kind of saying, is because we can go, we're not good enough to play 4 at the back. Well, that's because our left back doesn't do one or the other.
That's right.
He's caught between the two. He's not really that comfortable attacking. He wants to just sit on the edge of his, but fine. We've now lost the kid who can run up and down all day because it's just energy, so Seamus has to be a bit more reserved. But our midfield structure of late has been just one sitting, and therefore there's just gaps around everyone. When the way we played it against Palace at home was we had 2 6s. So we had 2 men protecting the 2 centre-backs, which means we never really got caught. And Palace are quick in transition.
They are.
The players they have. True. It was never an issue for us, really, because we had that 4. You know, and therefore you've got your width and you've got everything from everywhere else. The manager is going to revert back to that. It has to be 4-2-3-1. I would leave the 3-5-2 simply because it's just numbers. It's numbers, and Godfrey's got the pace. So you can almost, out of possession, you have 4 at the back because Godfrey can cover the right and Seamus can bomb right on. We can get the ball forward quicker to Dom and then try to have people around them. And who knows, we might even have an extra player in this week if things went the right way to give everything a boost. But I think for me, it would be this formation for the next.
Sorry, I'm just
6
not
weeks.
to do with what we're chatting about, but what's scary for me is one could easily see the club thinking to make life easier, maybe for themselves, the board.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Get someone in before the weekend.
Of course.
And it might not be necessarily the right one, but
the
priority is getting someone in.
Of course. Yeah.
And you get that crossover.
Easy wins, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or low-hanging fruit, as you call it.
But whoever comes along, if they haven't got pace, then we should hang them.
No, it's got, exactly, yeah, without a shadow. If this person coming in
whoever
isn't quick,
hang them
this week, then they're in trouble because it's literally, if you're making that decision based on your last 2 transfers that aren't quick, either your attacking transfers that aren't quick. I mean, you know, we've seen Dwight McNeil come in and played left wing back. Okay, might be all right. Me and Ped spoke about this, I think, very early on, that maybe that'd be an area for him to occupy. He defensively he works hard on that side, and he might be good on an overlap and he put 1 good ball in actually from that position. Is that enough? Who knows? But that is maybe a slightly more attacking option than Mikalenko if you want to keep the same formation, which is what the manager did.
You get the noise around Chelsea and Gordon, you know, and then you start getting tickles that say, well, they thought they were going to use him as a wing back, you know. Well, not with the lazy arse commitment levels, you wouldn't. But so if the manager, and I think we talked about it before, managers at this stage, they're only about communication, aren't they? You know, and extracting the best, the players. And so if you can get into some people's heads about recovery runs, about commitment, closing, but actually running into space, then everything appears easier. You know, and if they're all committed, you get a Brighton team who all seem to have got 5 yards to play with the ball.
Of course.
All the pressure's off.
They know what
I've
they're
got
doing.
3 guys to give it
A,
to.
they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
B, they're
right,
comfortable with what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And C, the coach well. And I think for Everton...
And 4, they're just better players.
And better players.
That helps, yeah.
And that's what you do. And if Everton go back to that and just go nice and basic, this is what we're doing, lads, for the next 6 weeks. So, you know, your roles. If you're right wing back, you're up and down, you're up and down, you're up and down. Left wing back the same.
Yeah.
But Damari Gray, right now, is in the team because he's the most attacking player, because he's the threat, he's scoring goals. Hit the post again, that was a good little move actually. Mikalenko joining in, you know, took people out of position and all that. But Gray's doing, let's have a look at his numbers from Friday. Dribble attempts 3 out of 6, 50%, I think he was the most. Won the most. Crosses 1 out of 2, duels 4 out of 9. Shots on target 1 hit the post as well, that's not on there, and 100% of his long passes.
His stats from the game aren't amazing on paper, but he's a
influence.
threat.
It's the influence.
He's a threat. He gets the team.
Well, he had the
going.
most shots from that.
No, what I'm saying is though, the numbers don't
tell everything.
Tell everything. He was a threat. He worried them, and I think that's what Everton have got to use now. He's got pace. He's absolutely useless playing out wide because he's stuck in positions that he doesn't know what to do.
But he also depends on it. If he had a Nathan Patterson on the other side, or a Luca Dean who runs past him, it creates the half.
I think he's a lot. I think he's somebody who likes to be buzzing off around where he can do what he wants. And I think playing in this formation off a Dom, I think that would work. Even if you go long and Dom wins the header and knocks it down, and then second phase he's running at people. People don't like. Keep on some of the word pace.
No, they hate defenders.
Because look at Rashford. They get 2 goals from him running, just running in the box, and then they get a 3rd goal from another player running in the box who stupidly Godfrey. Why? It's going nowhere.
You know what? I had the stills,
but he's going nowhere.
I had the stills to put up. I had the stills to put up for the 3rd goal.
Going nowhere.
Because his run. Godfrey, they're both running at an angle. Yeah. If Godfrey carries on his trajectory,
it just runs about.
He blocks the thing, and he doesn't. He runs and then runs into the back of him, and then it's a penalty.
Sort of like what happened to Anthony Gordon at Anfield last year.
Don't talk about that. But listen,
let's look at the stats.
The stats, Let's check
just the overall ones. Oh yeah.
So there we go. Manchester United 17 attempts at goal, Everton's 8. 7 shots on target from them, 5 for us, which is a lot for us. 3-2 in the big chances, 58%.
One of them will be a penalty, won't it?
But that was it, and it is a little bit of a not back to the drawing board. It's 1 win in 12 for Everton, and out of both cups.
Any other manager?
The stats aren't good. This weekend, Everton have obviously there's been nothing even to back the manager. Just almost like don't say anything.
Silence is
deafening. But quite clearly Frank Lampard's got this weekend. And the parallels are unbelievable really with last season. You know, first game of the new year we lose to Brighton. We get a result at Brighton, Hull last year, which keeps Benitez in a job for a week. We get beat by the bottom club.
Was it the 13th?
And he's out 13th, 14th of January. This year we get beat by Brighton. All right, we get a glory defeat at United, and then we've got a home game against the team bottom of the league on almost the same. Well, it is the same Saturday as it was 12 months ago. And if Everton were, this is where you would hope that Everton are planning. Yeah. If they did change the manager after the weekend, if it didn't go the way we all hope it does, they can't leave it a fortnight again like they did last January, and then the new manager comes in on deadline day, which is what happened to Frank Lampard, and here we go again. And this is why they've got to be ahead of it. Everton have got Southampton at home and West Ham away. The next 2 matches, they need 4 points for me out the next 2. Both difficult games for whatever reason. Everton have got to get the 4 points out of it. They've got to. They've got to get some upward trajectory because they've got a week off after that, and then they've got Arsenal at home, which is a big game, and Liverpool away.
Absolutely. 2
very tough games. So therefore, it's now or never really. You've got to start putting points on the board. And we're in a dogfight, make no mistake about it. And the board are under the cosh. And there's a demonstration planned for this weekend as well. And the heat's not going to be turned down on that, I don't think.
I mean, there's going to be a stark difference, isn't there, between before and after the game?
Absolutely.
Because the fans are going to be on it big style.
To the
try
team,
and lift the team.
To the team.
And then whatever the result is, they're going to be after the board.
I don't think this time, just on the demonstration stuff, I don't think this time a 2 or 3 wins are going to make any difference.
No.
I think that's where it's changed.
It's changed now.
The momentum.
Last year was Benitez. This year it's...
The momentum is fundamentally different.
I think people have just come to the realisation that we just need change.
End of. If it's not this year, it'll be next year.
Yeah. And this can't happen.
We've talked about it, and we've had journalists in here in the last week, haven't we? The things that a lot of the fans want, right? I don't mean the very simplistic sack the board, but it's not if, it's when.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of those people who
Is that the board or the manager?
all of the above, really. I mean, if you start with the board, because they're the ones who should be making decisions, not the owner, right? Should be making decisions about the manager and taking guidance from the director of football, and then you've got 4 board members, right? Not all of those people are going to survive this campaign.
No.
Right? And it's when they leave, not if they leave. Okay? But some of them is still an if. Right? If you look at the manager, he might survive, for example.
We'll talk about this on another show.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Let's get into it big style. On that.
Right, we are about to go, so we're going to carry on quickly on Toffee TV Premier. If you're on that, obviously we're streaming it
live, so you must be.
If you're not, why aren't you? The link is in the description. So yeah, get over there now. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Let us know what you think in the comments section below, not only about the performance, but about the position of Everton right now. See you later.